Good morning, here I am. How are you lot? Happy Friday, we made it to the end of the week again. Well done, well done. Hi everybody. Today is supposed to be my special pain topic day. And this is where I get to talk to you about something that I've chosen as a common problem that most of you suffer with. In hopes to be able to give you some solutions to the problems that you're feeling, the aches and pains of daily life, and why we don't have to suffer, but we kind of just accept that as we get older, these little aches, pains and niggles happen, but it doesn't have to be that way. And a little bit of movement can go a really long way to making you feel awesome for the whole day, every day, without that backache and without those sore hips and without that sore leg or the sore neck that we seem to bang on and on and on about, but do absolutely nothing about at the same time. So, yes, normally I do a special pain point on a Friday, but today I'm not going to. I'm just going to talk about the importance of movement. And hopefully if any of you are feeling brave enough to tell me what you're suffering with, I might be able to give you some quick pointers on the fly. So, hello, say good morning if you are here, that would be lovely. If you don't know me, hi, my name is Lisa. I am the Health and Confidence Coach, and I have been here every day, Monday to Friday at 9 a.m. to talk about things that we can do to get past living in pain. If you are living with the aches and pains of daily life, and you're ready to do something about it, then tune in, because on Mondays I do a great full body mobility session, and throughout the whole week we do hips and back, we do upper body for neck and shoulders, and then we also have these special topics as well. So yeah, good morning everybody, and today I want to talk more about the importance of moving, rather than just accepting that you're in pain. And I've worked with a lot of people, and some people have been in pain for so long or for so many years that they genuinely just think that this is it, this is how life is going to be now. But if you once started working with them and you start to loosen them up, and it may take a while, especially if you've lived like 30 or 40 years of not doing anything to help your body, but the results are still amazing and the progress is awesome. I really remember a lovely guy he'd only stepped into the gym when he was 50 years old. And he obviously wasn't the healthiest, he wasn't a healthy weight, he'd never done exercise. The reason why he was there is because there was a scare in his family. And he realised that actually he didn't want to have to go through a similar situation. And that's the reason why he ended up coming into the gym. And luckily I got him, and I like people that haven't done anything before. I like people that are a little bit older or feel like they're just hopeless, because I love to let them see what they're actually capable of. And this guy, this 50-year-old, who he told me himself that he ate way too much. He lived in the city in the week because he worked in London. But he lived somewhere else, so obviously while he was up here in the week, he was eating out all the time because he was living in a hotel. So imagine a man at 50 years old finally sees that there is something to be done about his body and there is something to be done about his health. And slowly but surely I worked with that man, and one of his biggest issues was his back, and so he had always resigned himself to the fact that he wouldn't be able to work out and he wouldn't be able to be a fit person because he's always got these issues with his back. But little did he know that with a little bit of posture correction and repeated stretches to help him open and realign his body, within 6 months, he was doing exercises that he never thought that he would ever be able to do. I'm talking press-ups and squats and deadlift. A deadlift was one of the memorable things for me to see, because if you do a deadlift, Just a quick kick my little slippers off there. When we do a deadlift, there's a lot of focus on the chest and shoulders and a nice straight back as you go down. Generally, well, especially when this guy came in to see me, there was no flatness. It was all hunched over, and he couldn't really bend down. I can't do the hunch, which is really annoying. But I do remember about 6 months into our training, I used to get him to do it with a broom handle so that he could put a broom handle across his shoulders and try to bend over with his bum. And if you work out with me, I do a stretch called the Good Morning, which is very similar. And it was icing on the cake to see this 50-year-old that had never been in the gym, had never been interested in fitness before, had a scare, came in to see me, and within 6 months this man was doing deadlifts, he was doing press-ups, but the most important progress for me was the fact that he was now living pain-free, and he never thought that would ever happen. He just accepted it as a fact of life. And I think that that's what a lot of us do as we get older, especially when it's a shame to say it, but I've even heard 20-year-olds saying, I'm getting old now, feeling the pain. And some days obviously we're going to be in pain. Some days you might do something wrong, or you might, stretch a little bit of muscle. But most of the time, if you were to do a little bit of movement and a little bit of stretch, you would actually have such a much better day for that anyway. So there, I wanted to give you all a little pep talk about why we do Move It and why we do mobilisations, and actually why they might be more important than you think they are, especially if you're getting to a point where you're thinking, I need to look after my older self. I want my older self to be able to walk down the shops without walking not even 1 mile an hour. So it is important. I'm having a little giggle there because I was laughing that whilst all this COVID stuff has been going on, I had a moment where I managed to quickly get back and hang out with my family. And my nan, that's before this tier 4 started happening, it's before it was really serious. And I was with my nan and we were going down the shops, and I'm a London walker. If you've seen people in London walking, we don't walk, we run everywhere. And I was walking down the shops with my nan, and she was constantly telling me, hold up, can't walk that quick, hold up. And we were having a little joke because she used to do Keep Fit and everything, and she was saying that it was one of her things that she didn't want to be slow when she was older, and she's not as slow as some people, but it was definitely an eye-opener. So yes, move it and mobilise it so that you can have a pain-free day. Good morning everybody that's coming on. Hello, morning Phil, who we got? Abby, Hannah, Skip, Danielle. Nice little mix of people in the house on a Friday. Tell me if you guys have tuned in for a specific reason. Is there anything that you are feeling painful with? Anything that you think, oh, maybe she might be able to give me a little pep talk or a little kick up their bum? Why don't you give me a little comment and tell me about it? And I will see what I can do for you. Love it. Nice. I'm also just going to have a little reach over here because it is my coffee time. Believe it or not, I've actually done my workouts already today. It's Friday. And after this, I'm almost done. Woo! This is my Best Sister mug. I think this must be one of the oldest things that I own. And I was thinking about this today. It's my Best Sister mug. I hold on to it because my little baby brother bought this for me. And I love him so much. And I've kept it. And I was thinking this would be the thing, if you your possessions, what would you cry about? I'd be crying if I lost this little baby. It's my little trophy for being the best sister. Love my little bro. So yes, little black coffee for me. So morning everybody, hello. So tell me, whilst you're here, what are your normal aches and pains? What do you normally suffer with and you think, oh God, I wish that would go away? Maybe you wake up with it every day. One of the things that used to get me, but I have done a chat about this, was the painful heel, the painful foot. And it starts, morning Michelle, you're a lovely woman. Thank you so much for being here. Miss you actually, you're really fun. Oh, you've lost me. What was I talking about? I can't remember the name of it, but there's a pain that I used to get every day in the morning. I have done a chat about it. It used to come right under the heel there on the foot. And it's like a stabbing pain. It's like bum, 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 bum. And it can take a little while to be able to walk that off. And that used to kill me, actually. Imagine, I was quite surprised when that started happening, because I move all the time. I move all the time. I work out all the time. I don't really have a choice. So I was thinking, how is this happened to me? How has it happened to me? But basically, sometimes if you move too much, and in the way that I was moving, after I did a little body MOT, I noticed that there was my ankle was slightly off in some of my movements, which was probably causing a stretch in the ankle and the heel and the calf. And so I managed to do a little bit of work on that. And I'm telling you that took a while for me to get rid of, because it took a while for me to do something about it, because, you know, I'm not just like, oh, there's a pain, let's go and sort that out. I was like, oh God, there's a pain, I hope that leaves me soon. And it was still there over a month later. So I ended up doing some good work on it. I did do a video about it, and I told you about my little foam roller that I was using as well, that vibrates. And it got in there, and I managed to stick to it. I was doing it every day after we were doing our chats online. And lo and behold, this morning, I mean, I don't know how long it's been, probably well over a month since I did that video. And I woke up this morning, I was like, oh, I realised that I don't have that pain in my foot anymore, which is awesome. So yeah, that's definitely one that I could talk about. Are you all just going to sit there and watch me waffle on all day and not give me any questions? Okay, perfect. I'll have to talk about some other common pains as well, would be that I know that a lot of us suffer with, and me myself, lower back pain and hip pain. If you know me very, very well, you would know that a while ago I had to have some back surgeries. I had scoliosis. It's a curvature of the spine, and mine was pretty bad by the time they found it. I think normal degrees sit around 10, 12, 15 degrees of a curve, and mine was in there at 80. So it was pretty serious. I was made a medical spectacle, and it was through my last year of school. But when I finally got to have the surgery, the first one wasn't great. It didn't go very well, so I ended up having another one like a week later. And within that, I ended up with a lot of nerve damage, and I ended up using the whole use of my left leg. And yeah, that was a really difficult time for me, actually. It took me a good 10 years to fully recover, 10 years to fully recover from that surgery, and to get out of a wheelchair and walkers and crutches and walking sticks. I had all of that going on. And that's why I guess I'm a massive advocate for moving, because I could have just accepted that was it, because I've had 2 surgeries now. If that's not going to help me fix my back, then I don't really know what's going to work. And also the fact that I was in a wheelchair, and I had people telling me, you know, you're lucky that the surgery's gone well. You're not been so lucky that we've missed your communication from your back to your leg, but really overall it's a good job. And I was thinking, okay, cool, so this is going to be me now. But I really didn't want to. So for all those months that I was actually sat at home, sat in bed, not doing much, I really, really wanted to be able to make my leg work. It was such a thing for me. And when I finally managed to be able to get that slightest muscle spasm, the slightest twitch in my arm, in my thigh, I'm just going to do it on my arm, it's just like that. And it was on my thigh, and I saw it and I thought, amazing. And we went straight down to the physio, hooked me up to all these electronic equipments. And I did it again, and they saw the electronic reading of the twitch of the pulse. And from that moment, they knew that that it could be fixed if I was willing to work with it. So I ended up doing hydrotherapy, physiotherapy, It's crazy, Michelle. I know sometimes I have to take a step back and think it is a bit strange that this little girl that was living in a wheelchair with no hope of walking around has now become this massive fit freak. But I also do think that it's from that a massive appreciation for the body and how the body can heal itself. I think without that, I would never be here anyway, because it was only from learning that the body is so clever and it really always wants to regenerate and it always wants to help you fix and repair. So yeah, a lot of time in a hydrotherapy, a lot of time in physio, and I think it maybe took me 2 years to take my first real unaided steps. And yeah, it was a magical time for me. I still remember it. Still makes me a little bit teary sometimes because it was amazing. And from there, I really just put the work in to make sure that I was always using that leg. But I would say that in terms of pain, it still took me another 8 years to get off all of those painkillers. And really, I saw the last little bit of difference when I really started listening to that last little finish off, which for me was a lot of core work because I just had huge back surgery. So the back wasn't very good at holding itself up. So I had to do a lot of core work to help it out. And yeah, I guess that's probably a massive part of why I do what I do now, although I do feel lucky that I almost kind of fell into this it just became a massive passion and an obsession, and then I finally got the opportunity to give it a go and I did, and here I am. And it is strange what you say there, Michelle, because a lot of people, obviously when you look at me now, you would never even know that happened, and sometimes it's so far away from me, that whole experience, that I don't appreciate just how amazing that journey has been and how much I've done. So there you go. And if you didn't know about my story, I guess you do now. Yeah, that was part of my story. After I did that, I felt really lucky. When I was finally being able to walk, I had this such gratefulness for life, for like actually being able to walk. How lucky am I to be able to use my legs? And yeah, from there I would do walks, and then I started running, and then I ended up doing a half marathon for a friend, and yeah, never really looked back since then. I found HIIT, and HIIT really fills me up, makes me feel good, amazing in the morning. It's like short bursts of workout, so you only can literally be done in 15 minutes. I have a program at the moment called Fit in 15. It's super early, it's at 6:40 in the morning, but if any of you are listening to my story and you're like, oh, I wouldn't mind trying that Fit in 15, then give me a message, because I actually do have a 2-week free thing going on that. So you may as well just try it out, even if you think, oh God, I know what HIIT is and it's not really for me. Well, got 2 weeks for free there, so you may as well try it. The kicker is that it is at 6:40 in the morning, it finishes at 7, and that's so that it doesn't get in the way of our day. I won't be doing any later, so please don't say, oh, 8 a.m. is better for me, because I'm busy then. Okay, perfect. Love it. So how are we all out there today? Love it. I think you've all just come on to listen to my little story. I hope that you've enjoyed it. I hope that that's helped you see why I actually really love doing what I do, and why it's really important for me to be able to teach people that you don't have to live in a world of pain, of everyday aches and pains. You don't have to do that. You just need to move a little bit more. Yeah. Nice. Okay, my lovely people. Oh, thanks for a lovely chat. That was great. If anyone's got anything to say, that would be lovely. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Perfect. Wow, I love it. Thanks, guys. Yeah, you may not have known that this actually did happen to me. It happened to me whilst I was young. We were still at school. And even then I was quite a private person, so not very many people would have known about it. they would have probably just thought, oh, that's a bit strange that she's been stood up for the whole class. But yeah, it happened. I found out about it when I was 16, and I used to work in an old people's home. I used to make them tea, and I remember my dad came for a visit, which, yeah, so I thought, oh, good, I'm going to get home really, really quick so I could see my dad. Hey, honey, pushel, pushel, these are my little babes. And yeah, and by the time I got back to home, I was in so much pain and agony that they whipped me off straight down the doctors, down the hospital, and I ended up going for an x-ray, and that's when we found out about it. Which is strange because an 80-degree curve would usually be obvious, but the way that this was sitting, it was actually on the inside of my stomach, so the curve was not seeable. I will, Michelle, you're lovely. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for commenting. I love you so much and you look amazing. I will tell everybody that you gave your love. Goodbye. Perfect. So yeah, and then finally, after I left school and we were still on the waiting list because I was waiting for the NHS, very expensive surgery that. So yeah, waited a whole year for a really good surgeon, and then 2 surgeries later and all that happened. Luckily by that time I was actually in college, so I just dropped out of college so that I could obviously focus on preparing myself instead and learning how to walk again. And I do feel incredibly lucky, yeah. But I did put all that work in. So there you go, guys. I guess this has been more a little bit of a story about me and why I find this stuff awesome and why I can never really get enough of it and why I preach about it every day. It's more down to the fact that I hear people complaining, I've got a bad back, I've got a sore neck, and my shoulders hurt, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. When was the last time that you actually moved that? Have you stretched it lately? And most of the time, the answer is no. And most of the time, it's backed up with an attitude of, I can't be bothered. And therein lies your answer. How are you ever going to expect to get better if all you're ever going to do is complain about it? And that was a harsh lesson from my nan. And I think I've shared this before. I hated doing the stretches that the physio gave me. And I was away with my nan, and I was complaining about them, as you do. Don't want to do it. And she said the same. She was like, how are you ever expecting to get better if you can never be bothered to do it? And from that day, I did do it. So I guess I've got my nan to thank a lot for, actually. She's a beautiful lady. Okay, guys, girls. I think I've chatted on enough. If any of you've got any questions, or if you want to have a chat with me afterwards, or if you want to get in on my Fit in 15, then all you're going to do is send me a little message. That would be great. Love it. Okay, I better go because I think she wants to go out for a walk. Either breakfast time or walk time. So guys, I am going to say goodbye. Have a very lovely day, and I'll have a great weekend. I'll be seeing you on Monday for our full body mobilisations. Adios.